everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's episode is the Moldavite experience, and we have the one and only first male interview on here, Erin Fehr. Woo!
Thank you.
Hi, Erin. So I'm so excited to have Erin here today. I just want to share with you guys the person that actually introduced me to Moldavite was Erin. Right, so we go back about 3 years. We met in Costa Rica at a retreat, and I shared with you guys like the vision I had of, during this retreat I had like the light goddesses came through, like leave your business, work with women and crystals. So during that week, I was like, who knows about crystals? And so intuition, like several people said, hey, go talk to Erin. He's the crystal person. And I remember he sharing about Moldavite. And I was like, I've never heard this Moldavite thing before, right? If I were to start with any crystal, I remember asking you, if I were to start with any crystal, which one would it be? And somehow Moldavite resonated.
Yeah.
And also this backdrop in all these activation videos, here's the creator, right? So I'm so excited to have Erin here on today. Erin, you want to share about, how you got into all this, crystals, your background, and like, what is we're going to go back and like go over like what is their main purpose of these activation videos for our viewers to understand like what the heck they're watching.
Yeah,
but you guys are in good hands. So Erin, you want to make an introduction?
Sure. Yeah, no, thank you again for allowing me to be here and to participate. I'm just honored to no end to be able to share my experiences and, prefaced by, I feel like I'm a perpetual student. Crystals have been part of my life since like the very, very beginning. And I remember my mom telling me anytime she'd be doing laundry in my clothes as a young tot, I'd be always carrying stones in my pockets from my journeys of anything that I had encountered that struck a chord in my heart. I would carry it with me. And so like that passion had been through me since I was, but a young child. And now after coming through, understanding the metaphysical side of crystals and looking at them from that perspective and pairing that with photography and looking at it from an even closer perspective of just like the smallest and most minute detail, the like main principle behind macro crystal was being able to appreciate that beauty in even the smallest and most simplest thing. And that was really like the core that started that journey, because you could take even the smallest stone and see just like landscapes of beauty when you look at it from that very close macro level. And it's just really, inspiring and moving to me to be able to capture that and to share that. And so the expansion of that into activation videos has been a long journey too. And as you kind of teed it off of like, what's really going on in these videos is a lot more than just the crystal itself and that capturing of just the smallest energy of it, but magnifying it so that you can see and appreciate it in its movements and in those little details. Like that energy comes or was conveyed really well through the Celestine prophecies. Have you read those books?
I love that book. And the 11th book was like the Shambhala, which I like started interacting to. Certain times they'll come in. It's very fast. This higher level of consciousness.
Right.
But yeah, like even when talking about this next level of spirituality, like I would come to you as like, Erin, like you would be one of the very people who would understand what I'm even talking about, right? Because like a lot of times when we're starting this awakening journey, we're downloading so much, and for me, like I didn't know who else to talk to about this stuff, like so in depth. Either me go like research on my own, which I didn't know where to start, and just like syncing out with you're like a wealth of knowledge, right? This is only like the tipping point. Like crystals is just like the beginning. Erin is also a computer programmer, so we're gonna go down like the simulation path later in the series because we're just trying to wrap our head around crystals right now. Yeah. But you are just like so talented in what you do, and like even these like backgrounds in these activation videos, right? One is like, this is super awesome. Like I didn't know where this is going, but two, like intuition also led me to you to help bring this into form. There must be something there because I completely trust my intuition, my guides. Yeah. And but yeah, today's video is just like for us to bring more awareness to it, like what we are doing and how this is being called forth. And yeah, so share about like how long you work with Moldavite and how these mandalas come into play, right? Because the Moldavites, like we're collaborating right now. Like I'm activating these different Moldavites, and then you're taking macro photos of it, and so it has different energies from different sites. Let's start. How long have you worked with Moldavite, and what has been your experience?
So I think I got my first Moldavite probably in and around 2013 or so. And that would have been really at the spike of my, spiritual reawakening too, like post the 2012 energy shift there. I felt really reawakened in the potentials of gaining greater understanding of working with these things on a metaphysical level. And crystals to me seemed like a literal solidification or crystallization of Earth's energies and of, the greater spiritual movement of the planet condensed into these veins and channels. Like I heard explanation that said like a crystal vein is akin to a human vein, and the same way our bodies move blood around, crystal veins can be ways that the planet moves energies around and conveys, those types of understandings. And so it was really cool to start working with that, to say like, where did this vein come from? What information was passed through here, and how can I interact with it and appreciate it? And one of the first things I started understanding was working with crystals on an exchange level of like, you have to give something to the crystal at the same level. And so for me, it was my admiration and my love and my attention and my focus. And I would just pour these things onto these stones. And in response, I would feel this like jubilee and this joy and this appreciation of acknowledgement, where was, maybe a stone that could have been disregarded on the side of the street now being picked up and appreciated and, cleaned and properly presented, and all of these things, like it made a difference. And so it was in and around this time too that I was introduced to a spiritual school called Mahajriya through a teacher of mine, Prakesh Nichaka. And through there, they had a practice called Kujian, which is the 9 hand seals. And each one of the hand seals in this way had a mudra, or a hand seal specifically, but it also had these 4 other components to it that made up the meditation practice, one of which being a mantra or a spoken expression. Another one was the chakra itself, or the physical energy center in which this meditation was focused on. There was the Dharma and the contemplation therein, but the last one was a mandala, or the visual representation of this concept in, a way that you could see and represent it visually. And so the practice of a mandala to me is like the visual representation of energy, of spirit, of a chakra, of, that divine movement. And so to be able to take something like a crystal and use that as the foundation for the mandala, it essentially encapsulates that crystalline energy, but now magnified by the numerology and by that, sacred repetition. And so like it creates a greater movement. And it's, like that's the intention behind these mandalas.
Oh, for sure. Like even the ones in my back right now, in your back, I'm like, I feel the energy. It's sometimes throughout the activation videos, I feel like energy coming in and out, right? As if there's a magnetic field to it, like a vibration coming out of these videos. Can't really explain, but the more that tune into my body, like I feel it, that I get goosebumps. All right, so for sure, I feel like there's something from these activation videos and just from like the energy of different crystals. And yeah, so like the different mandalas is a visualizations of these different energies, right? So when they're watching these Moldavite activation, right? Where first it's going to be Moldavite. Eventually, we're going to work on. For me, it's like I'm gonna work on different extraterrestrial crystals. But if you check out Erin's YouTube, he has different crystals for different cleansing, depending on which one you are. But these activation videos are very, very powerful. So can you give us, those who are watching, like what can they expect from these, they get from these activation videos?
Right. And that goes back to what I was saying a little earlier about the exchange, and what you can expect will be roughly equivalent to the amount of energy that you're willing to, give back to the video and to the attention that you put on it. So the way that I would describe this is, if you are meditating mindfully while you're watching it and observing the energies that come up and being very present in yourself and in the video, and allowing yourself to be free of, we'll say, the negativity that can come up through a day-to-day life, and allowing that to shed away, and to see the beauty and to appreciate it, and to re-stay in that level of harmonious vibration. I think the expression too comes from working with mantras, and the way I had explained it was, through repetition you gain a greater understanding. So you don't just say the mantra one time and really know and understand and appreciate it. You would potentially use a mala and repeat it 108 times, and even then that's still barely scratching the surface. You'd repeat the entire mala 108 times over, and that's still just an introductory level, just peeling back the layers of truth and understanding in these things. So if you're taking that approach when you're watching the video, consider it like peeling back a layer. And as you watch, observe which layers are coming up for you, what resistances you have, or what intentions you're bringing to the video. And as you sit there and observe it, that energy from the crystal and from the intention behind making it can kind of permeate through those layers and help shine light, so that we can remove them and help create healing and a greater level of awareness in ourselves and in the interactions with our lives and those around us. From a fundamental level, we're continuously learning, and so this can be a visual representation of a learning tool that allows you to just take the time to sit there and watch it and peel back some layers in yourself and see what shows up.
What I also noticed in people shared about watching some of these activation videos is a lot of emotions will come up. Some people cry a lot, which is normal, right? There are videos where I cry. It just gets really sensitive. We're just peeling back different layers that we haven't fully healed. We haven't fully allowed these emotions to process. Mm-hmm. Sometimes these are just stuck emotions that we just never really want to go back into, right? We just suppressed it within different areas of our body. And, sometimes these videos can open up these different blockages for us to feel them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes all it is just feel it through and cry it out. Or get angry. You may get angry, but it's just a purge. It's a release.
Mm-hmm. Well, the energies are coming up for you to look at them and to let them go, to learn that lesson, though, at the same time, because those energies are there for a reason. And all of the experiences we've had in our lives have helped shape us to who we are now. So holding respect and appreciation for them, and love and understanding, are energies and vibrations that help allow for a greater capacity to love even more, and so it's like the deeper you go into these things, the more space that gets created. And so it's a perpetual journey, I think, in that regard. But the journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first one, right? So right. Watch the first activation video, see how it makes you feel, see what layers come up.
Yes. And I just love it that how you're holding space for men to really tap into this crystal energy stuff.
Sure.
Because for me, it's like the light goddess. Originally, I thought is just for women, and then lately, it's okay, I start holding space for the men who wants to come out and express this and bring awareness, because there are men watching who can relate with you, right? Who wants to know the crystal, but then there's gonna be a lot of emotions coming up for us to process, each of us individually. And it's just dealing with your shadows at an accelerated rate. But yeah, I just love it how Erin's super talented, knows not much about crystals. If you have questions, his website is Macro Crystal, and YouTube goes to the same.
Yeah, macrocrystal.com.
We'll put the information, and then no, how, and I know we kind of touched base on this. Is there any other recommendations for how people can approach these videos or prepare for them?
Absolutely. I would always recommend getting to your sacred space first. And if you ask yourself, well, where is my sacred space, or I don't have one, then that's a great place to start of cultivating a sacred space. In many cases, this could just be a spot in your room, or you maybe can set up an altar or some kind of space that has spiritual significance to you, or create an ambiance using things like aromatherapy, such as incense or other fragrances that can help stimulate positive energies in that way. Scented candles are a good way to do that as well, you know, and create energy around you, including smudging, things of that nature, so that you know you're in a safe and clean energy that you can now dedicate to your spiritual practice. Because if you're going to be sitting in a space that's cluttered, or in a space that's not conducive to allowing you to relax or get into that state of peace, then you know the video might only be able to interact with you at the same level that you're deeply aware of the video. And if you're thinking about your work or your life or other things while you're watching it, then that interaction, that depth isn't there. So it's always recommended to be able to like look ahead, see how long the video is, give yourself that amount of time, make sure your phone's not going to be disturbed with alerts or things like that if you're watching on a phone, and you know, set the intention of allowing this to be a sacred experience and holding that, you know, energy with it. Because the more again, I'll use the word sacredness you put into the practice, the more reverence it has for you. So, you know, like give and take in that way. So put your heart and soul into it and see what happens.
Oh, I love it. And I do want to share with you guys like the yoga mat, one of the yoga mats. So I forgot which mold that we used. Was it the lion one or not Shash? It was lion, yeah.
I think it was the lion one, yeah.
Okay, so this is one of the Moldavites that has a literally, it looks like an image of a lion, right? And so as if you're following my channel, we've been talking a lot about the solar plexus, divine masculine. There's a lot of shifts and healing the divine masculine part in men and women. So the mandala is placed into the yoga mat. And I haven't been doing a lot of yoga, but I've been using this mat to meditate. I even use this mat to put my Moldavites around to create a grid. And every time I walk around, like I pass this mat, I feel this energy. It's like a portal. That's what I feel like. It's like that thing is an open portal. So I just leave it at the bottom of my bed,
Yeah.
and then just allow the energy to flow in and out at night. But it's so fascinating. Like, how do you even come up with this thing? Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the camera so you can see it. All right, so this is the Moldavite. What is it made out of, Erin? It's actually very soft.
Yeah, it's largely actually made from recycled materials, largely recycled plastics, but they're able to produce it in a way that still has that nice, soft, plush feeling. So it's very good. It's very breathable. It's still grippy. It still works really well. But the manufacturers that I work are out of Athens, Georgia, in the States there. And it's a place called Vision Labs. Or Sunshine Manufacturing. And yeah, they create all of the products that I sell through Macrocrystal. So whether that's a canvas print, whether that's a yoga mat or a tapestry, all of them are created from there in Georgia, and they're all done through recycled materials. So it's like part of my intention behind this is like, yes, I want to share the energies, the vibrations, and to be able to take those home and put it up on your wall. Like it makes a difference. But at the same time, I want to be conscious in the you know, energies of how I'm doing that as well. So finding a green manufacturer was very important for me. So I'm very happy to work with them, and I'm always good to give them a shout out because I'm very, very thrilled to have the work that they do, and everything. Their team is fantastic. So yeah, thank you.
I love it. Like, I don't know if you realize this, but you are opening up Moldavite portals like for everyone who has a mat. Like literally is like Moldavite portals all over the place. And this is like one of a kind. I have not seen any other Moldavite mats.
Yeah, might be a niche.
It's going to be a niche. And I can't, you're working on some more. I can't wait to see the Mount Shasta one.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to take some from Zion, and so that you can create into different mats, right? Because Mount Shasta is all about influence. For those who are stepping into influence, a larger field. Mount Shasta is such a super very holy place where I got this Moldavite activated, and then Zion is the energy of twin flame. So that is a different energy I'm gonna bring forth. We're gonna work on those different mats, but stay tuned. So this mat right here is made from a lion-looking Moldavite. So it's a very divine masculine energy is what I feel like it's bringing towards. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll probably have you back again so we can talk more in that stuff.
Sure.
And I really do want, like, I really do believe in what you're doing. It's just so powerful. I wish more people could know more about it. And that's why we're here, we're talking about it. So for any of my viewers who want to get a yoga mat, go check out Erin's website. And you want to get some different activation videos based on different crystals, go check out Erin's YouTube. I'm going to put all this information in the description below as well. And anything else you want to add, Erin?
Just thank you again for the opportunity to come on here and to help inspire me at the same time to continue making these videos, to continue sharing it. Working together has been a complete joy. So thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so
tonight.
grateful. Thank you for being here. And then thank you for everyone who tuned in. We love you. And then we'll see you next time. Bye.